Alright, so let's do a little range test here. We'll go into Imperial for you. Running low. Try to catch some of that glare and get the props out here. Tilt it down a little bit. A little glare off the water. We're going into the sun, into the wind. And it's going to be a little dark on the flight out. One thing I have noticed with the Zino 2 is the horizon's fine unless you're in sport mode and wind. It does not like it. So let's turn a little bit here. Put that glare right at the center. Catch that water. Point down a little bit. Not sure how that looks. Let's go ahead and start climbing.
Hello, this is your pilot speaking, and I want to thank everybody for flying with me today and ask that all passengers please reach out now and hit that thumbs up button, and also a friendly reminder to stick around after the flight so we can touch on some things you're seeing and some characteristics within the flight. And as always, thank you for flying with me and enjoy the rest of your flight. Take care.
Horizon's still looking good. We're in sport mode now. Let's see what that gimbal does. .30 miles per hour going into the wind. I'm trying to find some shade because the sun's getting me. I can see the screen really nice. The controller screen. So in the full sunlight you can still see coordinates. Now, I'm not running my normal track here. I'm hanging off to the right more than I normally do. You still see the props here. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. Now you might think this is a great place to do a range test. I can usually get some really good range out here, but I never really get past the bridge. That's where I break up, and that's because of a little patch of land between me and the bridge. I lose that signal. But we're going to see how we do. I think if I go to the right, I might have a better chance. 12,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up in altitude to 400. I actually thought I was at 400. I wasn't even thinking. Let's turn to the right a little bit here. There's that bridge I'm talking about. I usually don't get past that bridge with most of my quads. Let's go into meters. Hands are cold, I'm shaking. 4,000 meters. I'm passing the bridge. I don't think I'll get past 6,000 meters. Starting to get some lag here, but this is impressive. I think. And I'm losing signal. Oh boy. Trying to angle myself better here, but we lost signal. Now we haven't hit return to home. We've lost everything. And it's not coming into, there we go, there's return to home. Let's see where we are, how far we are when it picks up. 4570 is what it's telling me. 57% battery. And we're hovering. Let's see if I can, it won't let me. So that's as far as I can go. 4,500 meters where I'm at today. And we're at 56% battery. I just can't adjust myself to pick up that signal. Now we're in return to home. And we'll just wait and see if signal picks up. So under 5,000 meters is my maximum there, which is still impressive because out here, like I said, I generally don't get past that bridge. It says hover mode. I thought it was return to home. Still says hover mode. I'd like to have some FPV, that'd be nice. Okay, now we got it. Still a little broken up. I'm pointed right at it. Gimbal's looking pretty good. It's good horizon. Let's point down here. So I'm going to turn off the, we'll leave screen recording on just in case. Still kind of choppy. Yeah, returning home signal is not, I mean, it's showing full signal, but on my screen here, as you can see, it's a little disappointing there. Huge lag. I'd like to turn it a little bit here. Take control myself, I guess. Don't show the message again, I said. 44% battery. Flying it myself. Let's put it in normal mode. And let's turn it this way and come back along that side. %, battery. There we go. Now I've got a decent image here. Let's go down a little bit and we'll come towards land. Try to get a little bit of everything on the flight back. The water, trees with no leaves on it, not much to look at there. Level 40%. Let's hang it over here a little bit. Not much color to look at out here, people. Let's turn to the left. Sorry, I'm cold and my hands are shaking here. Okay, so I'm cold, and I'm gonna get in the car and warm up, and we'll talk about this later. Okay, nice and warm. Um, I know you guys fly in a lot colder than that, but um, I went out thinking it was actually nicer than it was, and in the sun when I left the house, it wasn't that bad. And then I got out there and I was freezing my tail off, and didn't take any gloves with me. So uh, enough about that. I wanted to cut the video short there because it was real annoying with the wind and everything in the video. But mainly there was enough to see to go over what we saw in that flight. So first thing I wanted to do is just point out, now you're seeing the props. I don't have props on it, but you're seeing the props in the video. And the one thing I want to remind you, I'm in sport mode there. So when you're in sport mode and you have, or you're not even in sport mode, you're like this, hovering, and you have your camera angled here. When you put it in sport mode, the quad's going to be more like this. Your camera is going to pitch up and keep its view on the same spot. Therefore, it's going to catch the props. That being said, put it in normal mode and go full speed. I'm still seeing props. So not as bad. And I can adjust it in normal mode by taking a little less horizon, and it gets rid of that. But in sport mode, you basically have to get rid of all of your horizon to get rid of those. So sport mode is not really anything for cinematic or anything like that. I think it's a given you're going to get the the props in the video. Normal mode, I would like to be able to have full horizon should I want to, and not have to worry about seeing props. But we have props in the video. So that being said, just want to talk about a few other things you saw in the video. And first off, it was cut short, like I said, but the full flight all the way down to a 0% battery, because I did some other shots after that. I continued the flight when I got back before I hand caught it, and tried to do something a little cinematic. But the whole flight overall, 4,800 meters and or kilometers, and that was a 26-minute flight. So you could hear the wind. I'm going to say it was about 10-mile-per-hour winds based on my app, and about 15-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So flying into the wind, like always, every time I fly there, it's always going to be going into the wind like that, because that's just the way the wind flows through those mountains. The biggest thing with that video is what you're seeing in the image. We shot at 4K, 60 frames per second. I had it set for sunny day, ordinary, or whatever it is. Just their presets. So I did not do any fine tuning, and of course did not have a lens filter on there. So I didn't have any type of polarized filter or an ND filter on there. That would have helped tremendously. But that being said, I'm not liking what I'm seeing in the camera, so I'm not 100% sure going into the sun with even an ND filter or polarized filter is going to help, because if you didn't see it, go back and just look through the flight on the way out during the range test, and you'll see these like flares in the corner, mainly the left corner of the screen. You'll see these like glows, and then of course you've got the distorted sun rays. Now I get sun rays in other quads, and it'll kind of darken my image, or that sun ray will be kind of reflective, but this is like a real staggered color in these rays. It's very strange. So I don't know if that's really normal or not, and I have nothing to compare it with by putting filters on that quad, because I have not got filters yet. So I'm not hopeful that it's going to be 100% even with filters, just based on the regular Zino and the Zino Pro using the filters on that. I don't like those filters one bit with that camera. So I don't know. That's to be continued as to that type of quality. You saw on the way back the image quality was much better. Um, Going with the sun at our back, it's always better. So there's not a lot of color to look at this time of year, so we can't really compare to see if it's got that real bright greens and blues that it normally has with the Zino or Zino Pro. So that's all we really have to go off of on my flight. Very bland with no color in the trees, and the water wasn't as clear just because of winter and thawing. It kind of muddies it up a little bit. But I did do some flights after that, and I got real down close with the waterfall. Went through the whole drainage system, which is like a stairway system of waterfalls. I came up it and got real close to the water. You're going to see the same image issue there, where the bottom left-hand corner gets this distorted color and those glares. So in that type of situation right there, being down low in a little valley with the sun really not fully down on me. I know with my Mavic, um, I don't know that I did that with my Fimi X8, but I don't get that bad of an image quality with those type of glares and odd colors on the screen. The other thing you'll notice is dead center of the screen, I get a little pink dot. So I mean, I've cleaned my lens, and you know, those type of different color streaks. It's usually if you have oil on your lens and it kind of reflects off that oil. But this is kind of strange. I've never seen this in any of my videos where I'm directly into the sun. Normally when I'm directly into the sun, my video either gets dark or I just get more of a bright reflective glare or like halos. So this one is totally new to me as to the type of colors and things that we're seeing on the screen there. So you'll see it in the next flight that I post, where I try to do something a little more cinematic for you and get up close to the water. And we were close. There was a couple times where I was like that close to the water. I had it in view, so I was able to do it safely, but a couple times I got a little nervous there and I kind of jumped up. But that and the return to home, when I kicked in, I don't know if you really noticed, but when it kicked into return to home, what happened was it just went into return to home. And of course I couldn't see it because I had that long period of nothing on my screen. And then it pops up and I could see I was in return to home mode, but then it goes into hover mode. And I just let it sit there. I left it alone. It goes into what's called hover mode. And I did not try to initiate a return to home or anything like that. And I had signal. And then I just sat there and waited, and all of a sudden it went back into return to home mode again. So that's very strange and odd. And I think it actually did that twice before it stayed in the return to home mode and started heading home. So I'm not crazy as usual with the Hubsan return to home for loss of signal. I don't like it. I know we're going to lose that FPV and everything, but that return flight, for the longest time, it was just terrible lag. So the signal on the return back sucked. It was pretty bad. And then the last thing was when I caught it, just before I caught it, I was probably about 20 feet off behind the camera where the quad was coming down. So every time I took off, I flew 3 full batteries today. I took off 4 times. Every time it returned home, it was always returning home behind the camera. So I don't know what's going on there, but I haven't tested that precise landing feature with a landing apron. But if that's the way it's going to return home, we're going to be off a little bit. Other than that, I can't say that I really enjoyed today's flight just because I was cold, it was windy. So it is what it is. But
the Hubsan Zino 2, so far I am happy with it. I really don't have any major complaints other than the issues I went through prior uh, with both of them, and issues that I'm seeing out there with other people's. Your biggest thing is loss of FPV, either on delivery or after updating. We've had a few that had a situation like mine. I think a total of 4 now had a situation like mine where they uh, updated and had to use the recovery firmware. So we'll go over all that kind of stuff after I do one more flight video, and then we'll kind of touch base where what I feel about the Hubsan Zino and do a little review on it at this stage, and then continue flying it, trying out things like features and different stuff, and see how things progress with these updates, because we're going to be forced to do them. And again, want to remind everybody, message Hubsan, tell them to knock it off with the forced updates, give us an option, and fix that, make that top priority, because I don't want to be stuck with garbage. So, like Crooked Horizon. From what you saw in the video there, Horizon was fine. The only time it's bad is in sport mode going into the wind. It really got crooked. So may throw in a little bit of cold temperature there too. And it just wasn't liking it. So, but normal mode and of course film mode, it was fine. So that's it. I think I covered everything. Not the best video quality, but again, this was just mainly for range tests, but the video did bring up some important things to talk about. So we'll continue with more flights of the Zino 2, and thank you everybody for watching my video and flying with us today. And hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. And as always, thumbs up on your way out, and take care everybody. Bye.